So the next bit is the idea of networking. This is the final video of the pub guide to SEO. Almost pretty much taken the pub analogy to a level where it's sort of integrated into the SEO. The way that I'd see it is that we've walked into the pub. We've been accepted by Google, and we've done the accreditation with setting ourselves up on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and all the varying factors. But the important thing is that those reputation builders like the directories, Google Maps, and whatnot, all boost the incoming traffic. This is nothing. This is absolutely nothing compared to the outgoing traffic from the website itself. So if you have a website that either Hertfordshire Web Design has actually built or is going out to the general world, regardless of whether we built it or not, the important thing is that you're able to get some traffic coming out of the website, and this requires a lot of manual work in on itself. The idea behind it is that when building a website, it's quite important to actually have the reputation set out in a way that allows you to see the way that how people actually engage with you. How does this translate to the pub analogy? The way you should see it is in the environment where we've already been given the pat on the back by the likes of Facebook, by the likes of Twitter, Instagram, the social medias as a whole, and then moving on to the actual directories, which are independent websites in on themselves. They mean absolutely nothing until you have something to say. It's almost as if you've entered the social scene, and that social scene has actually accepted you as, okay, right, well, you are a legitimate person, you are a stand-up person. But what do you have to say day to day? And this is how Google actually sees the environment. They changed their rules a very long time ago. And that rule, it's very, very focused on the public perception of the website itself. I'm more interested in making sure that there is an open dialogue between me and my clients and me and the general public, because I have to boost my credentials. I have to boost my connections with the rest of the world, really, in order to get leads in order to get accreditation. And the only way to do that through the search engines, through SEO, is to actually have something to say, and that in on the pub environment is quite important. And hence the reason why I've went for the topic of the pub analogy, because it's really the best way that I can actually invite people from different environments to actually understand how that works. It's not a social club; it's a very sort of a public house environment, and that's how it is. Is you want to feel safe in that public house, you want to feel welcome in that public house, but the important thing is that you have to have something to say. And the best way of doing that is to actually post regularly. I've always told my clients, regardless who they are, that they have to post on the website. A lot of people, and I will do another video about it, is the difference between a website and Facebook. And that is quite an important feature, because people stray and say, okay, well, if I've got something on Facebook, why do I require a website? And this is the reason why, is you and I will be going onto search engines to find whatever services we're looking for, going into that pub environment and trusting on Google and the search engines, whether it's Bing or not, to actually turn and give us a result. And those more most definitely more most definitely websites, and those websites require us to accredit ourselves to make sure that we are legitimate websites. Facebook does come up in the rankings, but there's so much competition out there through Facebook as a website that it's not as accurate as actually having your own website. And that's what people are finding out these days. In 2019, it's clear cut that websites do require some sort of traffic coming out of them, as well as Facebook, but Facebook is far too competitive. And as great as it is for patting you on the back, you can't just always go through Facebook. You have to have something to say. The way that works is through blogs. Blogs and articles are the foundation of anything you have to say for yourself. So as as aggressive as that seems, it's quite important to actually start moving away from the idea of using social media as just the only form of traffic, to actually having your website keyed up, written up, and SEO'd up. And again, those articles that you write are scraped by Google and the search engines, because it's a text-based environment. For this specific analogy, I've already written an article on the pub analogy to SEO, but the idea behind it is it's important to lay out the foundations and explain to people that the way that the website works is so keyed in for the purposes of SEO, that writing articles and writing blogs on maybe even a weekly, a monthly, even a daily basis if necessary, means that it actually gives you a certain amount of weight and credibility, and that's the idea behind it. And moving away from this video, the conclusion is that you have to be a socialite in this pub environment. You have to have something to say, and you have to have a lot of accreditation. And again, staying silent once you're in the actual pub doesn't help you at all, because the two factors that Hertfordshire Web Design focuses on specifically is how do you get a backwards and forwards engagement. First of all, and that is the first step that we normally do, is we clean up your website. We make sure that it's SEO compatible. Then the next step is the maintenance part, is maintaining the website's credibility is quite important, and the way that happens is through making sure regular blogs and write-ups are done. But the next part is not just the regular blogs, but then making sure that the SEO is updated in the website itself. So once the articles go out, making sure that they're available on the different streams, so people know that it's that article on your website is not just available on the website itself, but available on different criterias. Hence the reason why I'm using this podcast as a means of another stream coming into the website, another way of accrediting the quality of the work that I do. So again, the qualities all depends on the type of websites you decide to actually churn out your content. I'm using YouTube for video. I'm using different podcasts for the purposes of audio. So this audio will be on the podcast. And then the final stage is the actual write-up and the text. And those texts are quite imperative, really. But that being said, again, I may move on with just using podcasts because it's just so easy and handy. But for this purpose, I'm going to wind it down here. And don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to follow. It's one of those things where it's rather important to actually highlight that the number of followers on YouTube, and it's quite imperative to me. So speak to you soon, and thank you very much. The next article will be a little bit more, I think, focused on the comparisons between Facebook and having a website in general. I think that's a really great topic to take it on, but you never know, it might be something completely different. But thanks very much, and and don't forget to follow.